Friends, welcome. Today we're talking about how in the world you set up multiple Cricuts on one device. And when I say device, I say computer. Cricut Design Space does have an app for Android and Apple users that they can use on their iPads or phones. I don't particularly care to use those apps. So what I'm saying when I connect all of my Cricuts to one device, I'm connecting it to a computer. There are two ways to do this: Bluetooth or directly connected into your computer. I don't prefer doing the Bluetooth method. There's a few reasons why. One of them is the connection's a lot slower when you're going from mat to mat to mat, or it can disconnect really easily. So I don't use Bluetooth at all. What I use is a USB hub. I will link it down here in the descriptions of this video. But it's a really long USB hub and it has 8 different slots on it. I plug that into the back of my computer and it is in between the computer and my wall of Cricuts. And I just plug it all in and that's how I connect it. So if you're following this video, I would strongly suggest doing the same, is just getting a USB hub and start plugging it in to the hub. And then all of this magic that I'm about ready to show you is golden for you. Okay, so first in starters, after you have them all plugged in to your computer, what you want to do is you want to open up just one window of Design Space. It'll pop up. Oop, I got lost. Hold on one second. I'll flip myself to the top. There we go. Okay, so what you're gonna see down here in my projects is all my orders that I'll be working on today. I do that either before I go to bed at night or in the morning when I wake up and I'm drinking my coffee. I always just pull every single order that I need that I'm gonna have to be working on today, and I already set them up so I kind of already know what it is that I'm going to be doing. So we just have one window open of Design Space. I am going to make that. Like I said, I already know that I'm going to have to make this one, so I'm going to make this one. And I'm just going to open it up and leave it. That's going to do its thing. Okay, at the very top right here, it says File. And actually, I don't want this one. I remembered. I saved that with something else. Okay, we'll try it again. We'll just open up another one. My internet is being a little sluggish today. Okay, so it's this one right here. I combined 2 projects together. So we're gonna open up this one, press make it. This is going to load up. At the very top right here, it says File. Click that and press New Window. Another one's going to pop up. Again with the slow internet issues today. Okay, so then I'm gonna keep going. And I'm just going to continue opening up a whole bunch of windows. I know, exhilarating. Generally, the internet isn't very slow. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so obviously we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to need 6 windows of Design Space open, which is perfect because that is as many. I have more Cricuts than that, so this is going to be great. One machine is going to do each project for me. That's how I like to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign each machine to each project. So I have 6 windows opened. That means I'm going to be using 6 machines. If you don't have that many machines, don't worry about it. You can always stack and do other things with it. I'll show you how to do all that. But for me, I always like to keep each machine busy every single day. Opened up Vegas. Now, this gal right here, she ordered... I don't even know what she's doing with them. I'm trying to figure out what she's doing with them. But she ordered 20 garlands, 20 sunflower garlands. Then, on top of that, she ordered, if it'll load, she ordered 100, yes, 100 of each of these. I'll load this up for you because it's bananas to me. It's absolutely bananas. The order came in yesterday and she needs it like a quick turnaround time. So obviously I'm working on it today, and I ran out to the hubs, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this person just ordered 100 of each food tent. Okay, so she ordered 100 pizzas, 100 sunflowers, 100 turkeys, 100 Easter ears, castles, and construction food tents. 100 of each. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna be making 600 food tents in the next. I think it needs to ship by Friday. Insane. Bananas. Okay, so let's just go ahead and make that. Okay, and then up here for this one right here, I'm going to leave this one because it's a large order. I'm going to leave this one. I'm going to need to figure out like how in the world I'm going to multiply this one. This one shouldn't be too hard. Okay, so in the actual file, which I'll cancel that real quick. In the actual file, you can tell there's just one garland for me. Whenever I resave my stuff, I always give myself little notes like this says 20 sunflower garlands, meaning she needs 20 of them. It's just like a mental note for me that I like to keep. So then when I go to make it the next morning, because I set this up last night, up here at the very top where it says project copies, instead of 1, I'm going to do 20 and press apply. Then it's going to auto-generate all of these squares, or all of the squares. I need to go back to preschool. All of these circles. All of my paper that I use for this is 8.5 by 11. I wish that they did like an auto-generate for all of the paper because I definitely use more 8.5 by 11 by 12 by 12, but they don't. So just go down to the material size and click 8.5 by 11 or whatever material size that you use. I mean, if you use 12 by 12 paper, have at it. Okay, so for here, this right here, it is saying, if you can tell, it says 8 and it goes all the way down to 11, and there seems to be like an extra circle right here. If I were to move this down to 8.5 by 11, I still feel like I could probably get another sunflower flower there. So what I always do is I would go to 9, and this little box pops up right here. The top 3 dots, click that and select move object. A whole bunch of these are going to pop up, a lot of them, because I'm going to be making a lot of them. And I always just find the one that I'm trying to work on. So I'm going to move it over to a different slot, press confirm. Next thing you know, if you moved around, look. And then when I start moving all of my projects, now I can get, so you're saving space, saving material. And even if you can rotate it, so like if you think you can squeeze in another one, which I feel like I could get 6 to a sheet. Oh, see, look at that. I think I totally can get 6 to a sheet. This is the most time-consuming spot when I'm setting up my day, is moving around pieces to save on material. I hate wasting it. And I don't like to use the H word, but I hate wasting material. It is expensive. And I don't like just having random scraps. So what Cricut initially told me is that I could only get 4 flowers to a sheet. Well, I proved them wrong. Now I got 6. So with that being said, and I have a whole lot of random sheets or whatever, and because it's the same thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of this. I'm going to cancel. I mean, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. I'm going to cancel. I am going to, we've determined we have 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to delete these 2. Don't need them. And I'm going to ungroup. I'll delete all of these. I'm going to ungroup that. Okay. So add in a shape. This tutorial ended up being a whole lot more than just connecting multiple sheets at once. Lucky you. Okay. So I'm going to make this 8.25 by 10.75. On the material size, there's always like let me see. Okay, you can kind of tell don't judge me on my mats. I'm trying to get one that's like the most used up to show you. Okay. So on a mat, I know it's terrible. I have matte resticking spray for this. I'm sure you're going to wonder how in the world I use it. I just do with matte resticking spray. Okay. So on the Cricuts, there's always like a border where you can tell like nothing gets touched, and it's like 1/4 of an inch throughout. So if you tell the machine that you're cutting 12 by 12 and you're doing this hack, it will register as it's too large for it. So it needs to be 1/4 of an inch smaller on each end for it to register as an 8.5 by 11 or a 12 by 12. So when I'm setting up stuff like this and I'm getting ready to attach things and make it seamless, if you're doing 12 by 12, I always do 11.75 by 11.75. If you were doing 8.5 by 11, I would do 8.25 by 10.75, because again, it will make sense when you do it this way. Trust me, it'll make your life so much easier. Okay, so we did determine that I could get 6 sunflowers to a sheet. So I'm just going to copy and paste 6 sunflowers. I did remember that when zooming in, I did remember that when we did this, we kind of like rotated these sunflowers up into the next one. So let's rotate and bring them up, squish them up just enough. What is that? Is it making me out to be a liar, or am I missing something here? Let me copy and paste this. Maybe it was the back one that we were doing, because I did only try one of the yellows. Yep. Okay, so the smaller yellow ones is the ones I could do 6 up. So I'm rotating those in, squishing them all in together. And then it looks like for the bigger yellows, I can only get 5. So what I'm doing is I'm selecting all of the smaller yellow ones, not the gray box that you included on that. Here's all 6 of them, and go down here to the bottom where it says attach and attach that. That is telling the Cricut that this is one sheet, and you're going to cut out each sheet in its spot, so it's not going to reorganize itself. Okay, you can just delete that gray box. For this one right here, the larger one, it looks like I'm only going to be able to get 5 larger. The lighter color sunflower is smaller. It's just the lighter color one is just a little bit bigger than the smaller one, than the darker color one. It's 2 different layers, so it doesn't look like I'm going to get all 6 on one sheet, which is fine. It's not a big deal. It's better than 4 to a sheet. So I'm going to rearrange these, make sure that nothing is touching, like right here, like you give a little space. If anything is overlapping, it'll cut both of those, and then you're left with random holes or nicks into your flowers. Again, selecting all of these and pressing attach, deleting what I don't need. Okie dokie. So now when you press make, you're stuck with one full thing and one full thing. And that is it. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do 20 again. Ta-da! And now you have a lot less sheets than before. That was an easy fix. Then always go up here to material size if you are changing your material size, and click 8.5 by 11. I could probably do 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to change this to 24. I've been doing this for so long, I kind of like remember all of these things. So I know to only pull a certain amount of paper, switch it out. Okay, so I'm going to spare you all the rest of the details of setting up my day, because it will get quite boring. So let me show you how in the world I am going to connect all of these random 6. I think we pulled 6, pretty sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we did 6 windows. Okay, so how you connect all of your machines to one device is with with all of your windows opened, just go down to the continue. Nothing's going to pop up. If you only had one machine, it already automatically connects to that machine. But because you have multiple machines, if you have 2 machines, it will be multiple. You'll have this thing. And they have to be on. Make sure that all of your machines are on when you go to here. Go to connect machine at the very top. There's going to be a list. Drop it down. This is all of my machines connected to one device. Now, I've said this in previous videos as well. The reason why I have these really, really, really pretty and expensive Post-it notes, I'm just joking, but the reason why I have these Post-it notes on each machine is because if you look at my drop-down box, it seriously just says Air 2, 0, USB, all of them. And there's a lot of them. And I only have one maker. So with that being said is like, I would not know if 1 was 1 or 2 is 2 if I didn't have these Post-it notes. With that being said, the reason why I use Post-its is every single time Cricut does an update or my Mac does an update or just decides it wants to rearrange, sometimes 1 is not always 1. So it's easier when 1 becomes 3 to switch Post-its around or to get a new Post-it. So that's why I always use Post-it notes. It makes it easier for me instead of having to remake vinyl stickers or cute stickers or anything else like that, just using a Post-it. Okay, so let's just, for YouTube video sakes, let's just say that this is going to be number 1. And I'm going to click that. And eventually it will connect to number 1. We'll say we've already printed this. We haven't, but let's just say that we have. And now if you are here in my space, you will look over to number 1. Number 1's up here and the light is blinking, so we're good to go. So then go to your next window. Here's the next one. Press continue. Do not click number 1 because number 1 is already connected to a device right here. Correct? Yes. So then when you do your drop down box, don't click number 1, click number 2. Or if by weird reason you want to do number 4, click number 4. But you just have to remember which machines you're clicking so you don't click them again. Because if you were to do that, this is what happens. Let's just click number 1. Whoops. It will say you're already connected to the device. Don't press retry because if you do, it will knock the first one off of the connection. So just press cancel. And then we'll just say number 2 for YouTube video purposes. And then eventually it will be connected. So here we go. Now we're on number 2 and now we're connected. Okay, now let me exit out of this. If you were to try, because you have a maker, if you have like a different branded Cricut machine, Maker, Joy, so on and so forth, you've got the 3s, whatever, and you go over here and it says to connect to Maker. If you try and do that, this little thing will pop up that says you need to change the canvas. Always, always, always check this before you set up your thing. There is nothing worse than when you come over here to, let me cancel this. When you come over here and you set up like all of your paper devices or page devices and you're like moving things around, shuffling things around, you get it perfect and you've saved all this material. And then you're like, go to cut and you want to cut on your maker and this top thing says explore. Nothing will make you madder. Trust me. It happens to me daily. And I still need to train my brain to always look up here to make sure that like I am going to be cutting on the explorers, not the maker or whatever. So how you do that is you go to File and Window. Again with the Wi-Fi. Okay, so up here where it says explore and there's this like little arrow, press that and like the entire their branded machines, whatever, it will pop up. Choose whichever one that it is that you're working on. If you want to cut on the maker, then click the maker. If you want to cut on the Joy, click the Joy. And then go there, click it. Let's say I'm going to use not that one, this one, and press make it. which conveniently I'm going to need to use this for the maker. The maker I only have one of. I don't really particularly care for the machines. The only reason why I have it is because it cuts like darker sheeted papers like tan or pinks or blues and stuff like that. It has like a better LED light for scanning for the print and cut, so that's why I only have one. I don't particularly care for them. I don't think that they're worth their money. I don't use it for like wood or fabric or anything else like that. So that's why I have a whole bunch of errors. Okay, so now when you go into, I'm gonna make this, there we go. Okay, so now when you go into continue, it is going to automatically go with the maker. Now, if you had multiple makers, the same box would pop up. And then you're going to have to do what we did for the Explorers. But because I only have one maker, it automatically connects to that maker. I have to print this sheet anyhow, so we'll print this sheet. Okay, and then I'll show you what happens. Drop down box. Okay. So if you were to go and open up another window of Design Space, the last machine that you chose is always going to be the machine that they automatically select. So it is going to continuously say maker up here. If you have 2 makers and 2 explorers and you set up 2 maker projects and then you want to switch to explore, always train your brain. Just train your brain. Do it now because you don't be like me and then get frustrated almost daily when you mess this up. Make sure and click the thing and re-select whatever machine that you want to change over. Always train your brain to look at that dang that name. I'm telling you. I can't stress that enough. Okay, so now it says explore and now you can keep going on and it will do that. If you exit out of this and you go back into open window, it will then say explore. So always the last machine that you chose will continuously be that machine until you change it back to whatever it is that you want to. So I always because I only have one maker, it's always the last one that I choose. It's like, if I'm using it, if I have to use the maker, then I leave it for like the last one, which is what I did today. But then I always have to remember the next morning to change it back to explore. That's kind of where I get the hiccup in my day. Okay, I think that was it for everything that I wanted to show you today. I think I gave you more too. If I went too fast or I didn't cover something, please let me know in the comments field. I'll definitely answer any questions. I will for sure link the USB hub in the descriptions for you. But if there's anything else, let me know and I'll be glad to help you. I will see you all later.